So hi, everybody, and welcome to Success Stories. Today we have the amazing Molly Elliott with us. Hello, Molly.
Hi, Sheila. Happy to be here.
Molly is having so much going on right now and has had so much success and some real mental shifts and amazing paradigm shifts for her and her life that I felt that the rest of you might want to know, and things that can really help. And she's been so committed to the process and just so on board with what's going on. It's been an amazing transformation, and it's been such a pleasure getting to know you, Molly.
Thank you. Likewise.
So why don't you tell me about how we got to know each other and get started, and what it was like for you in the beginning when you were just learning about this program.
Yeah. So how I found Sheila was through my therapist, who actually is also in the program. And a lot of my unhappiness, I started seeing a therapist during the pandemic, like a lot of people did. I live in Madison, Wisconsin, and we had a cold snap where it was so cold I couldn't go out bundled up around fires to hang with friends. And I was very isolated. I work from home and I live alone. So I was feeling pretty down, hired a therapist. And one of the reoccurring themes in my therapy was how really unhappy I was with my weight, and how I felt about myself because of my weight. Now, background on me, I was very athletic, like extremely athletic, almost extremely athletic is extreme, an extreme athlete at times from the time I was about in my late 20s up until, and I'm 53 today. So
Today?
no, not today, but
Oh,
today,
I was
currently,
like,
I'm
when is your
53. No, I'll
birthday?
be 54 though in 2 weeks, in a
Yes,
couple
I know.
weeks.
Okay.
So, um, but from the time I was in my, like I say, late 20s, I started out, I was a runner, I ran marathons, all kinds of races. I was a gym rat. I, eventually did bike racing, road bike racing. I did CrossFit. I mean, you name something kind of pretty intense of a sport, and I probably did some of it. Okay. I was never great at anything, but I didn't care. I enjoyed goal setting. I enjoyed training. I enjoyed feeling athletic.
So you're a
And
very
because,
competitive person. You like that
yes,
edge and the
oh, 100,
discipline of it. You're very disciplined, which is great.
absolutely. Yeah.
And was your weight easy to keep off when you were
Yeah,
that
of
active?
course. Oh, 100%. I mean, I never really struggled with it. And I never really struggled with my weight prior to that either. Okay. But let's face it, guys, I just told you, I started this in my late 20s. So most of us don't, I mean, some people do, but a lot of people don't struggle with their weight in their 20s. Okay. And younger because, well, we've just got these high metabolisms. But when the weight started to creep on, it really it was hard for me. I was very depressed about it. I have not dated in, well, probably a couple 2 3 years, and part of that not wanting to put myself out there was not wanting to take photographs of myself that I didn't
Mhm.
like and that I was ashamed of, and I didn't want to be one of those people that puts pictures up from 5 6 years ago that doesn't look like me. I show up and it's not me. So my therapist told me about this program. I set up a one-on-one with Sheila. Uh, I am in sales, and so um, her pitch was good. Okay, her pitch was good.
I
I
pitch.
was, I mean, you're telling me about the program, so
Right.
it's a pitch. I mean, we're all pitching in life. Whatever you're doing in your life, you're selling something to somebody. Okay, I mean,
Right.
it's just the way it is. Um, I see no shame in sales because I'm proud of that. But my first thing was that I was a little shocked at the price of the program. Okay. Um, but even that being said, I thought about it and I thought to myself, there's a lot of things I spend money on. There's a lot of stupid things I might spend money on. I'm pretty careful with my money. But the point is that what better investment do I have than making one in myself? And I can get emotional about this because it it was a big deal. Like, we can spend money on other people and we can spend money on other things in our lives, but to say, I'm going to put this money into myself,
The investment in yourself.
investment in
Yeah.
myself
Mhm.
is a big deal, because here's the thing, we don't want to waste our money, number one. And number two, well, if I waste my money, who am I letting down? I'm not letting Sheila down. I'm not letting anybody else in my life down. I'm letting Molly down. And I have said this before, I only have one me. We all only have this one body for the time being that we have to honor and take care of. So I made the investment and I have not looked back. And I'm very, very grateful for this program, because it has truly changed my life.
Oh. So what was what were some or one of the surprises? You said it cost a lot of money, but once you got involved, was it more detailed or more in depth than you thought it would be, or?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, for anybody thinking about this program, considering it, this is not a diet. Okay. You can go to the bookstore, you can go to Amazon, you can go buy a million diet books. This is not a diet. This is a commitment to yourself, and it's a lifestyle, and it's a major change, and it's all about your mind and your body and making the connection. Okay. A lot of people maybe have food issues. I think all of us, we're in a society that food is social, right? And making some changes to how you do things. I don't want to get sidetracked here. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Well, you had said it was expensive. I want to make sure that, did you feel
Yeah,
like you got
so
a sense that you got your money's worth,
a
you know?
100%. And I'm only halfway through my program. I'm like, really, I think this is week 6. I think
Yeah,
I'm
you're
midway
right
through,
smack dab in the
right
middle.
smack in
Mhm.
the middle. Um, yeah, it was more in depth, and it was a commitment. I mean, one of the great things for me is that there's no tracking. Yes, you keep a food journal, and it's very important so that Sheila can tweak your program. However, I've used MyFitnessPal. I've used all kinds of apps. I don't have time. I have a very crazy work schedule, as most people do. Um, I don't have time to track every single thing and scan it and tell you how much of it I ate and all that garbage. I don't have time for that. And I've been unsuccessful with things. I mean, I tried Weight Watchers literally for like a week. I was like, yeah, I don't have no time to track
And
this,
some
and I
people
don't
track
believe in it.
macros, like, oh, what are
Yeah.
your macronutrients? It just,
And
you can't keep it up. It's just not,
it's
yeah.
just, I mean, unless that's your full-time job, honestly, it's
Mm.
just, it's overwhelming. So the great thing about this program for me was, yes, I had to track what I ate, but it's very easy. I could do it with a voice app. Um, but I didn't have to say, Sheila, oh, I ate a cup of broccoli and I had 6 ounces of fish or anything like that. It didn't have to be specific like that.
So
At
the
least
food
for
program was flexible enough that you could feel like you
100%.
could just do it.
And even the first 21 days, which I thought, when first looking at the food list, I thought it was going to feel very restrictive. It wasn't. You can definitely still eat out. There's definitely options out there. I think the hardest thing, I remember most shocking thing for me was I wasn't going to be able to have my protein shake in the morning.
I know there
And
was some real hardcore resistance and
that
death stares through the computer.
it almost made me cry. I mean, I
I
was so
know.
attached to that stupid protein shake that, I mean, and I still have protein powder in my kitchen. I put my Vitamix away and I haven't looked back. I mean, I just don't drink
Yeah.
my food. I eat all my food. I
I know
chew all
Molly
my
had a
food.
look like I told her I was taking away her puppy when I told
Yeah.
her you're
It
like, what, my
I
what?
was not happy about it. I was definitely not happy about having
Yeah.
to lose that. But
But you know
the
what?
pro
You gave in. You said, you didn't give in. No. You
I
were
committed
invested and
100%.
committed enough to say, Sheila, I'm gonna choose to trust you, and I'm gonna make this work. And you had another challenge, which is that you're a vegan, or were a
Yes.
vegan. I don't know if you're
Yes.
still classified as a
I'm
vegan.
I don't I've never really loved labels, but yes, I was vegan for a few different reasons. I mean, for all the reasons, right? For
Mhm.
health, I felt it was healthier. I felt that it was better for the environment. And of course, I love animals and didn't want to see them, I don't want to cause pain to animals. So I have added back in my diet but in the sense, so there's vegan junk food out there, people. You can
Oh,
go
yeah.
vegan and they can still eat junk food. You can still eat
Yeah,
processed food.
vegan is also known as carbitarian for a lot of people. It
It
really,
surely,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
it can be. And I definitely wasn't getting enough protein,
Or
not
fat.
because,
Yeah.
or fat, not
Mhm.
because I wasn't, not because it's, you're not able to do it, but because I wasn't doing it and I wasn't conscious of the things I was eating. Um, and I was eating for a lot of convenience.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong too, but I had been a vegan for 8 years and I don't look down on vegans. I think it's a perfectly valid way of living. I've had to struggle with being a healthy vegan myself. And that I think possibly had a factor in your wanting to work with me as well, because a lot of people who do the work that I do look down on vegans. Like if you're
A
not completely invested in my way of doing it, there's something, I don't feel that way. It's like
100%.
whatever works for you.
No, 100%. That was huge for me. And I'm glad you reminded me of that because it seems like it honestly feels like so long ago that I felt those
Doesn't it? It feels
conflicted
like months
feelings.
ago. This
Yeah.
is 6 weeks ago.
I know it wasn't that long ago, but it feels
Yeah,
like a different person ago for me. And
yeah.
I'll talk more about that. But yes, I was one of the reasons I picked Sheila was because, or picked you. I don't feel like I'm speaking to an audience. So, but the reason that it was a good fit for me is because she wasn't telling me I had to change who I was. She wasn't telling me that I could no longer be a vegan. I made choices myself to add fish and eggs back in, but that was my choice.
I
And
did
that's
not
only,
ask you to do
nope.
that. Yeah.
And it's only because there were some protein sources in the vegan lifestyle that I just found that I just didn't care for as much as I thought I might have.
Oh, the like the meat-like substances and
Well, yeah, I
yeah.
never cared for like Beyond Meat. That was never my thing. I don't want something that necessarily feels like meat.
If you
Um,
want it that bad and it feels like
I
meat,
would eat
have the
meat.
darn meat,
Yes,
you know?
100%.
But we worked
100%.
very hard and I actually called the Primal Institute and I worked with them to come up with a
Yeah.
very more granular list of proteins that you can have and worked with them to come up with a kind of primal vegan way of working. And we've struggled along the way to get those omega-3 fats into your diet. When we have added them in, you've had great successes. And
Mhm.
speaking of successes, you've had a big win this week.
Yes.
So
Yes.
tell us about what happened this week.
Well, I'm 12 pounds down. I'm in the 170s, which I haven't seen in years. So that's fantastic. Um, I lost 3 inches on my waist
In 1 week.
in 1 week,
Yeah.
which was kind of shocking when I actually was doing the tape measure. I was like, well, and I started changing. I remember the first couple of times I measured, I just did it like in the room, like in my living room area, and I just wrote it down. But now I started doing it in the bathroom mirror so that I make sure that the tape is
In
exactly
the
where it
right
was.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that it was where it was last week. And when I saw 3 inches gone, because I just remembered what my
Did you do it
measurement,
and redo it? Like something must be wrong?
I did kind of. I did it once and then I looked at it again. I was like, dang, well, it would make sense because one of the non-scale victories, and so first of all, let me just kind of go back. There's a lot to this program. And again, it is changing your relationship with how you feel about food and um, when you eat and dialing that in. It's not a diet. I mean, I just can't say that enough, that it is a whole body, mind, body. I mean, I know it's called Mind Body Reboot. That's exactly what it is. Um, there's a whole lot of non-scale victories and there's a lot of information and there's homework. Okay. And I feel like right now I know I'm behind on my homework. Like I've got
Oh, you're
modules I've
fine.
got to get to. Yeah, but there's things
But
that I know.
it's very rich with information that you need to
Yes.
take in, and there are different modules and different coursework that you have to do and
Yes.
watch. And there are 10 different areas that have to do with getting healthier and optimizing your health, thereby optimizing your weight.
Yeah.
And it's not just here's your food list. I mean, there is work that you have to do. So it's not a
Yeah.
sit back and let Sheila drive kind of thing either.
Nope.
And Molly's been very participatory, but you also changed your relationship in terms of what you allow into your life. Could you share a little bit about that
Um,
in terms of
you mean, but
food?
yeah. So, I mean,
your standards have raised, you know?
Yeah, I mean, looking back on some of the things I was eating when I was vegan, I mean, there was a patty that was like a chicken like patty. And I mean, looking back, it had 25 ingredients. That's not the reason I wanted to be vegan. I want to eat something that's processed with 25 ingredients. And yes, I'm very particular. I mean, I've always been a person that if I'm eating vegetables or fruits or whatever I'm eating, if it's got a skin and I'm eating it, I want it organic. I mean, Sheila's never had to ask me about that. She knows
Yeah.
that I'm on top of that. Um, it's been, I don't know, like there's just, I don't say I can't have something. I'm saying I won't have something, or I choose not to have something. So it doesn't feel very limiting when you present it to yourself that way and to other people in your life, because that was certainly a challenge for me as well. Is I have friends that, I had a friend that I drank wine with, and I had a friend that liked to feed me, and I had to set and create boundaries around that and still make those people feel loved and appreciated, but in different ways. And now I have to say, even though those things felt challenging before, I mean, I was at this particular friend's house for the 4th of July barbecue, and I brought a salad that I knew I could eat. I brought some extra. They were having brisket and pork shoulder. I brought shrimp to grill so that I had a protein source that was compliant for me. Um, it doesn't feel restricting in any way anymore. It really doesn't. And nobody bothers me about my food anymore. That's also the interesting thing, is no one's asking me why I'm not drinking. No one's asking me why I'm not eating something. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's my attitude and my energy that is just not
Yeah,
allowing that to happen, but
it
it's not
is.
happening anymore. Yeah, it's not happening
Once you
anymore.
have made the decision, even if you say you have, if you haven't really connected with it, people can pick up on that. And and you have to make that decision for yourself. And when it's really permeated who you are, it's not even a question to anybody else. But also we have to give our friends a break. I mean, it takes them a while to kind of catch up with you when you make a
Yeah,
change. And
sure.
you've done a wonderful job at enlisting your friends in ways to have them be supportive of you, because that's important to you.
Yeah.
And you've done it in a very loving and compassionate way, which is fantastic. And you've helped other friends, eat healthy. They look to you as someone who's got a healthy thing going on, and they're seeing results in you, and they're seeing a change in you. I mean, just, your coloring and your vibrance. And I mean, everything's just a different vibration than it used to be.
Oh,
Definitely.
100%. I mean, I definitely feel, I'm also really focused on not looking backwards, looking forward. Because if I look backwards, I mean, there was a time in my life I was riding my bike 200 miles a week. Okay. Probably 150 to 200 miles a week. I could eat anything I wanted. Not that I was pretty healthy then. I mean, because I always have been a pretty healthy eater. I wasn't eating a bunch of junk, but I mean, I could eat whatever I wanted if I really truly wanted to, and not gain any weight, because I couldn't replace the calories I was burning. There was just no way. But I don't look back and say, oh, I want to be that person, because I don't. And I have a new relationship with exercise. And that's actually kind of a new thing, Sheila, that I was going to share with you. I have a new relationship with exercise. I love exercising, but I can also be pretty obsessive compulsive about it, like I can with a lot of things, because I'm very competitive. Um, but I have a new healthy relationship. In fact, I went to a boot camp this morning. It was supposed to be one class. It turned out to be boot camp. And there were times where I could feel my heart rate really high up, to a point where I felt like this is not where it needs to be right now. Like, for right now, I don't need to put my heart rate here. And instead of looking around and being like, well, but everybody else is pushing, and like being super competitive about it, I just like took it down a notch. And I'm just trying to enjoy my exercise and not have it rule my world. Okay. And not,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a thing called chronic cardio that I've told you about, that
yeah,
it is an actual syndrome where you create more stress and gain weight from exercising too much. It's
yeah,
this bizarre phenomena. But all of that Biggest Loser show with like them putting 8 hours of work and making them ride the treadmill for 8 hours, and it's just baloney. It's not something that actually works. because
Yeah.
it's more of a hormonal story than it is anything else in your body for weight loss.
Sure.
But you're being more compassionate with yourself. You're being kinder with your body.
Yes.
And you're also rediscovering the joy in it rather than just the competitiveness in it. It's like,
Mhm.
ride your bike like a bat out of hell if that makes you
Yeah.
happy. Are
Well,
you
and you
getting
told me
joy from
that,
that?
and
Yeah.
you told me that, and
Yeah.
and that was and I love it because I've been, and I'm mixing it up. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm training for this, so I've got to do this many hours of this particular exercise or whatever. I'm doing TRX classes and yoga and boot camp, and I'm riding my bike and I'm getting out and I'm walking. And, sometimes I just go to the gym in my building and do the elliptical, whatever it is. I'm just I used to get into a place where I would just get so focused and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do this one thing and I got to do it for this long. And that's not how I operate anymore. And it feels a lot better and it feels a lot more peaceful and a lot more joyful. And yes, I'm
Excellent.
being much kinder with myself. And I don't just want to tell you, I feel like my old self, but I feel like someone I recognize again.
Well, that's
And
the
that's,
reboot. That's the,
yeah,
when you reboot your computer, and I come from a tech background, which is why I threw a tech word in there.
yeah,
But it really is, you turn it off, you get a chance to refresh. It just comes back on,
yeah,
comes back online, and you rediscover some parts of yourself that you thought had gone away. And you focus on what gives you joy and is what's kind to yourself. And that goes so far. I mean, we don't do enough of that in our world,
yeah.
but
But I mean, I know that I will never go back to the way I was eating. I will never go back to stress eating. I will never go back to trying to fill a void with food.
mm,
Just I'm not going to do it. You know, I truly just eat. I mean, 2 to 3 meals a day. That's pretty much it. I'm not snacking. I mean, I just don't feel the need to do it. And when I think about doing it, I just ask myself the question like, okay, are you really, really hungry? Can you eat a whole meal? If I can, then I'll eat a meal. But if not, then I just drink some water and I'm good. And I've had a lot of non-scale victories. One that I had this particular 4th of July weekend. Um, I mean, anybody who knew me in the last decade would know that I love a good white t-shirt. Okay. I like a crisp white tee. I I just do. And when you've put on some weight and you have weight around your belly area, a white t-shirt is not flattering, in my opinion.
it's very unforgiving.
It's
Yes.
very unforgiving. Colors will definitely hide a rule much easier than a white t-shirt will. And especially the kind I like tend to be more sheer, kind of a heathered white, sort of not see-through, but thinner. And they're definitely not forgiving. So this past weekend, we went to this 4th of July thing and barbecue. And I had a brand new white t-shirt that I had never worn, a size smaller than I was wearing just, 6 weeks ago. I also fit into a bra that I had that was just a little bit too tight. And every time I put it on, I would just be like, yeah, I can't wear this. This is not going to work. And I felt like $1,000,000 and I could see now, nobody really said anything. Nobody like said, oh, Molly, you look like you've really lost weight, except my very good friend who I see all the time. She said she looked up from her chair and she saw me from a side view and she goes, it hit me like a ton of bricks. She goes, you looked so awesome. And like she goes, I could really, really see how far you've come. And that's great to hear, but
Yeah.
it's nothing compared to the way I feel about myself and
Mhm.
the confidence that I have. And again, I mean, these are functions where I would have been drinking wine and, I I don't have any desire to drink wine. I don't have any desire to eat the foods. I mean, there were some, I mean, my one friend is a great, great chef. And I mean, there's always delicious desserts and things like that. I don't have any desire for it
Mm.
because in my mind, the way I'm feeling and seeing the success finally, because I tried to lose the weight on my own before. Um, and I think that one of my biggest problems was, first of all, drinking wine. And not to where I needed a meeting. Okay. I didn't have an alcohol problem, but excessive, wine drinking and chronic cardio. I mean, I think these are two things that really contributed to my weight gain for
Well, you're
sure.
doing two stressful things to try to cancel out. I drank a lot and I didn't eat well, so now I'm going to kill myself. And today working out,
Mhm.
which it was just
It was
one
a
big ball of
cycle.
stress.
It was a
Yeah.
cycle. It's like, okay. And we all hear about it, about, people who eat healthy all 5 days and then they blow the whole thing on the weekend. And the truth is that, I mean, that is an issue. I mean, if you're working really hard, and that doesn't mean that you never have a slip up, it doesn't mean that you can never, for the rest of your life, have, you know, a treat, okay, or a glass of wine. It's not to say that, but I don't know. I mean, I'd much rather get my body back to where I can wear the clothes I want to wear and feel good in my body. And like I say, it's not just about that. I mean, I feel like myself again. And it's
Yeah, you've turned the corner to where the benefits of living this way outweigh the temporary joy or pleasure you might get for some kind of dessert or
yeah, I
something.
mean, an early example of a temptation that I encountered was my friend who I drink wine with. I went to their house for dinner. He said, hey, would you like just a sip of wine? Well, first of all, why do you want a sip of wine? That seems silly. Sorry, I'm at my work computer and I got a phone call. Let me just cancel that out. Sorry.
No
Um,
worries.
why would you just want a sip of wine? Nobody wants a sip of wine. You want a glass of wine. I
Yeah.
mean, some people want a bottle of wine, whatever. No shame in that, but whatever. The point is, and I said, no, I said, because at that point I was in my 21 day. And I said, no, because if I have a sip, I got to start all over again. And even he said, he looked at me and he goes, yep, it's not worth it. I go, exactly.
Excellent.
And,
Because he saw the resolve in you. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is I am a pretty, committed person. And when I decided to make this change and hire Sheila as my health coach, I committed fully. Just for any of you that don't enjoy Facebook, please know one thing for sure. I don't like being on camera. I don't enjoy Facebook. I really don't. And you knew this going into
Oh
it. I
yeah. You were
just
like, do
don't.
I have to use Facebook? And I said, well, that's where all the educational
Right.
materials come
Yeah.
in.
And but the thing is that I also committed to engaging fully into the community.
Mhm.
Okay. And in doing that, I've made a friend. I mean, Caroline and I are, cut from the same kind of cloth. And
You guys were very fast friends. And when we moved to, we had some people that were moving into group rather than one-on-one sessions, and you and Caroline came together at the same time at that particular time. And there was so much more that happened during those group sessions that was far beyond what you would be able to get in the one-on-one sessions, because you're not alone. Someone else is saying, yeah, that's
right.
happening with me too. It's like, oh, it's happening with you too. I'm not, in my own bubble. And it's been really great to see the camaraderie. And Facebook is not like putting up stupid pictures of my puppy kind of stuff. This is a business based
Yeah.
thing. And this is
And,
where you
and
get your information. We share and support each other. And the modules are up there to get your information, but it's not the usual,
yeah,
let's take a,
I mean, there's nothing
yeah,
political about it. There's
yeah.
nothing, that annoys you. I mean, if anything, it's exciting when I look and I see I have a notification and it's something in this group. Like I'm excited to get to the group to see
Mhm.
what it is. And, you know, I'm telling anybody who feels like they would hate it. I
Yeah.
I said to myself, if you're going to make this investment in yourself, you have to be fully present in the group as well.
Mhm.
And I have been. I mean, every Wednesday live I've been on since I started, and it's important. So, if you're considering it, I would definitely say just, fully commit and immerse yourself in it because you won't be sorry. I mean, it takes some time. I mean, there were weeks there where I was really frustrated because that scale wasn't moving. But here's the thing, I don't even care about what the scale says so much anymore. I mean, yeah, I kind of do because I told you at the beginning, I'm at a place where I haven't seen that number in years. So is it exciting to see that number? 100% it is. But that's not my biggest takeaway and my biggest gain from this. It's feeling like a whole person again, feeling like myself,
Yeah.
feeling like I can accomplish anything.
And having that confidence
Yeah.
and that sense of being healthy and vibrant and charging into your day in a way that wasn't there before.
Yeah. And I mean, waking up, just waking up in the morning and knowing you're not going to feel crappy because you had one too many glasses of wine, or that you ate something that now you feel guilty about or something like that. I mean, there's
Instead,
just,
you
I don't,
look for your affirmation.
yeah, and the affirmations come at weird times sometimes, but whatever, they come,
I come.
they come.
I
And
can't vouch for the service. It's not my
it,
service.
it's fine. I know. And again, like I said, just, seeing other people's success as well. I mean, Caroline was a huge inspiration to me
Yeah.
before I got to know her as a friend, because she did it, and she was having this success. And I was like, okay, she's doing it. I can do it too. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And
And what you
everybody's
learned
different.
also with Caroline is she's not perfect. I mean, she's had some real one step forward, one step back stuff, but she's continued and she's stuck with it. And she trusted me and said, I'm
Yeah.
just going to take Sheila's word and go with it. And she's gone off the ranch and she's tried her own stuff and come right back in.
Yeah.
And she's on her own journey, and everybody has their own journey. Everybody
Sure.
who's doing this has their own thing
And
that they
and you'll be
embrace.
surprised. I mean, I guess, I never really even thought about how my relationship with my two best friends revolved around food and wine, right? Like I didn't think about that. Like, yeah, I was like, oh, my good friend, he's a really good chef, and he's sober, so he doesn't drink, but his partner does. And it never occurred to me that that was like could be a trigger, or would be an issue that I would have to address. And so, um again, you'll find things that are kind of pushed down that you don't realize. And that was one of them for
But
me.
that's why we have the sessions, and that's why we
Yeah.
have groups that we can say, I have this social thing coming up, help me strategize, get in there ahead of time. What can
Yeah.
we do? And we came up with a way of working with, for instance, and helping your friend support you a little bit better by saying, hey, here's some new recipes. Why don't you and I
Yep.
cook one of these new recipes, and enlisting him in
Sure.
that. So that's the kind of things when we get to them, whatever your issue is, whoever's listening,
Yeah.
it's you're going to have your way of eating. It's not a cookie cutter thing. You're going to have your issues, your way of eating, but my job is to make sure you're prepared.
Yep. And I mean, I have no, I don't have any regrets on how much this program cost me, because it gave me my life back.
Oh, well, I'm very proud of you. You've done such great work, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. And,
Really.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Well, we're grateful to know you, all of us. You have enriched the group in so many ways. So thank you very much. And you're an inspiration to some new gals I've had that have been like, oh, I want to be like Molly. It's just now you have the next, group coming in behind you. And Caroline's got some folks she brought in that are coming in that are like, that Molly's doing a great job. They're watching the Q&As. Wow, she's putting in the work. It's great.
Yeah. And that's the thing though, it is work. And like I say, you have to commit to it. You have to commit to the process, and you have to trust. And that can be very vulnerable for a lot of people. And I'm one of those people. I have a very strong exterior, as anybody can tell. But I
No.
also, yeah, I know, but I'm a big mush ball inside, and that's really
Yeah.
the truth, right? I have a huge heart. I care a lot. And, but I keep my guard up a lot of times. And that's just something I've had to do in life. And this was a big leap for me, but I took it, and I have literally no regrets. And I
Wonderful.
can't imagine that anybody, if you are unhappy with the way you look, if you're just feeling down about it, give it a try. You have nothing to lose but weight, and feeling better about yourself, everything to gain. That's the truth.
Wonderful. And you know, I'm not going anywhere either. You know, when you get done with the 12 weeks, you can continue, or you can pop back in for a month every so often if you
Yeah.
feel like you're getting off track. So it's, you know, nobody's going anywhere. This is around for your lifetime, and I'm not going anywhere. So you've got that support always. And, but thank you so much for sharing your story. Was there anything
Yeah.
else you wanted to share? Was that
I feel
pretty
like
much
there probably
everything?
was, but God knows what it is right now.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
so much for your
you're
time.
welcome.
This is,
I mean, I hope it helps somebody else because I'm
hmm,
all about pay it forward. And, you know, I mean, I have a friend, I keep trying to push her, but she wants to do it a different way. And it's not time for her, I guess, but that's
you know,
okay.
they say when you're ready, the teacher emerges, you
Hmm.
know, when you're
Yeah, I
ready to
agree
learn.
with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And like I said, I was just grateful that, I mean, the funny thing is I'm actually not even doing therapy anymore. Like this has really helped me in a lot of ways, get in touch with some things that, I need to be in touch with. So
Hmm.
not saying that you're a replacement for therapy, but
No, and I never asked you to drop, you know, just for the record, I never said, don't go do that.
no, no, no.
But yeah,
I mean, it was something that I stopped before, but like
yeah.
I'm grateful for my therapist and, I consider her a friend. So I'm very grateful that she, mentioned your program.
I was so touched that she trusted the process enough to hand me someone she cared about
Yeah.
and trusted she'd be in good hands. So that's wonderful. But thank you so much, Molly Elliott.
No
And
problem.
you continue to be such an inspiration for so many. And I'm so happy for your transformation. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
if this is what happens in the first 6 weeks. I cannot wait to see
Yeah.
where you're going to
I
be in
was
the
thinking
next
that
six.
too. I was like, well, gee, it's like what, 2 or 3 weeks to my birthday. I'm like, gosh, I wonder what I mean, how great am I going to feel on that birthday? And, every year for the last few years that I've been struggling with this weight issue, I don't know what month it is. It doesn't really matter. I'll be like, okay, this is the year that, when I turn this age, I'm going to be in the best health or I'm going to be in the best shape. And,
Yeah.
and then it never happened. So it's disappointing. So it's nice to be like, yeah. And, I was even thinking about my birthday and thinking, yeah, do I want to have a glass of wine? I don't know. Do I really need one? Like, I mean, if I did, like maybe that would be the time that I might think I would have one. And just honestly, I just don't care that much about it. Like
Make a
I
big picture of mocktails and show up with
yeah, I
something
mean,
you
I
really
care about
enjoy.
my birthday. I care about
Yeah.
celebrating.
Celebrate it.
I don't care about like what alcohol there's gonna be or if there's gonna be a cake or any like that's not important.
I can't wait to interview you again at the end to
Me
see
too.
your before and after pictures and
I
everything.
know.
And so take care. Thanks so much.
Sounds